20% of my kids had an E on the quiz. And I was like, whoa. But the quiz is made up to do without this,
Yes.
right? They had to do it by chart and things like that. So the quiz didn't match this assignment. So I modified the quiz. I gave some kids a quiz that looked like this, so that it was multiple choice. And I gave the kids who actually understood how to take the coefficient and multiply the subscript, and I gave them a different quiz. And I don't know if it was the snow days, if it wasn't the snow days, but it seemed like when they can converse about it and have a conversation, they had a better understanding of what was happening than when it was them by themselves on an assessment. So I'm not quite sure where that gap is, but I like the fact that they were able to sit there and have a conversation and really sit there and discuss what they were seeing and what they were doing. So I don't, this is a strategy that maybe could work in your regular class to kind of get them to visualize it better, but then it's also then, if they didn't have all of this, could they sit there and actually try doing the visualizing themselves?
Well,
Should
this
we
is
have
a
a model
step,
of that?
though. You could
Yeah.
do this, and then the next day, they practice with colored pencils.
Right.
And then the next day, they do it without the colored pencils.
Right.
Now, I understand time is a factor, but I mean,
Right.
you can have a I love this. And then it can be a step in the process of that perhaps the honors kids don't need, which is
Right.
fine, but at the own level kids do.
But you're right, the idea of actually doing it with pencil, like I didn't have them then go through and try to do it themselves with colored pencils. I kind of talked to the kids and was like, well, look, remember when we did it this way? I had them still posted around. I said, you know, if you write out the letters on your paper, that takes too much time. And I'm like, well, I hate to tell you this, but if you want to get the answer right, we're going to have to sit there and
Right,
take the time to
and
do
you
it.
just teach them
And
how to
that-
use the strategy
And I
you
think
did.
that was also part of, like, they just didn't want to maybe necessarily put the effort in, but if someone was sitting there and coaching them and guiding them, they were more likely to actually sit down and try to do it this way.
I mean, the other thing also about workload is, you can save that stuff for next year, right? So
Yeah.
yes, it is a lot of work to do that right now, but then you just file it away and then it's done.
Right.
Yeah, I did exactly, not exactly like that, but I have been, just like a Lego kind of stuff. The regular class I use, they put the right place where the coefficient is going to be going there. The regular class is really what, well, that's a kind of aesthetic learning, just to put, oh, now that is not fitting there. Oh, this is not the fitting there, how are you going to fit? So I have that kind of things for regular, but not honors, I don't use it. I also
Does
setting
anybody
up.
feel like their students can do it until you say it's a test or a quiz?
Well, you know, I
was
ran
thinking
into
the
this
same
problem with my IE kids recently,
Yeah.
where we can sit there and I can model and they could tell me the next steps. And then when they had to do it on an assessment, they couldn't do it. And they told me, Miss Pierce, when you're doing it, it looks so easy, and I can
Easy,
figure out what
yeah.
I'm doing. But then when I sit there and I look at the question, I'm really confused as to what my steps are.
Because I've got a few students that I felt like when I was grading their assessment, I'm like, how did you do so poorly? Because in
When
class,
running
you
up
seem
to
like
this-
you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But the second you say anything related to an assessment, it's like freak show. You know, they
get nervous.
they get nervous, anxiety, I don't know, something. And not a large number of kids, but I would be willing to bet that there's probably some
At least
margin
maybe
of
2
error
or
of
3
like
of
2
your
or 3 in
kids
each
who were in
one.
your
So what
group.
is that little nudge that you're giving them in class that leads them to be so successful, and how can you kind of replicate it without, you know, giving answers or giving
Yeah,
the
or-
inappropriate supports?
Like just give, I don't know how to fix that one.
Well, I don't know if it's,
I
remember,
think
we
it's a
had that
bit
learning
of practice
session.
of mental,
What
like,
that learning session was saying about ATL skills, maybe that's the thing, is we have to look at what ATL skill they need in order to be successful on the assessment, and then teach them that skill
Yeah.
before that.
I don't know, you guys experienced that one or not, I did. When I saw there's the same oxygen in the same place,
Yes,
they
didn't know what to
forgot
do.
to add them up and do the
Exactly.
balancing. This is the biggest problem I'm having, even my honors class. When they saw that it's one, oh, they thought they just disregard this part. So that is the problem I'm having, real difficulty, and if anybody has any strategy to come up, will be really, then we can use that one.
Is there
Even
a-
my honors class.
Please
So-
excuse my dear Aunt Sally to
Uh-uh.
Well, I
chemical
was gonna
equations.
say, I feel
you
like,
know?
back to the whole algebra thing, I almost feel like we need to be
Order
teaching
of
maybe a
operation.
week's worth of basic algebra mathematical skills to the students before introducing this whole stoichiometry related
Distributive
stuff.
property.
Because the distributive property, if you give a kid 2 parentheses x plus 3 and you ask them what do you do with the 2, they can usually answer, oh, it's 2x plus 6. But then when you give them the way that it looks for a chemical formula, they're like, and I'm like, instead of the coefficient, now it's a subscript, and you're factoring it in that way. And you can tell them many, many times, and they, oh, I still don't know, this one confuses me, I don't know what to do. And it's like,
So missing connection.
yes.
In math versus chemistry, connection, we need to
Yeah.
relate that.
And then
What
do-
yeah.
Do you, I mean, the way I solved that in my head is, right, I knew there's 3 on the left, so I said, okay, it's 3 on the right, so does 2 on the left work? No. Does 3 on the left work? Maybe. I mean, I just literally wrote it out, various scenarios until I got the one that fits. I don't know the strategy you teach, I'm
You
just,
make the-
But you know what, you
the
can
odd
also
statement,
introduce,
and that
you
makes
can
it-
also introduce the concept of, least common multiple, which I kinda like, go back, especially for, my honors, and that's, the way how.
No, they do balance, they did balance,
Yeah,
but they
exactly.
forgot one oxygen is still there.
oh, they just didn't see that
They did
at
not
all.
see that one.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
they just don't feel like it, oh, there is another oxygen, so it should be 3 here, so what can I do to make the balance? So just looking at, oh, this is balanced, this one is balanced, because H2 is here, H2 is here, O2 is here, but what is about this one, where did it go?
So one of the things that I use to address that kind of, situation is really just identifying how many number of atoms do we have on the reactant side, and then how many atoms do we have on the product side, and just really being able to count
That we
everything.
do, but
And,
that's always they forgot to add them up.
But I think, for me and my ESOL kids, I
Yeah.
noticed that the students who are struggling the most are the students who still have a hard time recognizing the difference between an element within a compound and which ones are actually compounds. So they see capital C, capital O, they don't know that that's carbon and oxygen, and that makes a huge difference when
Yeah.
you're trying to balance or when you're doing molar mass and all this other stuff. And so for me, I know it's a matter of teaching them what capital letter C looks like versus a lower letter C.
Yeah,
what
I
capital
just
O
had a
versus
kid looking
lowercase
at
o.
sodium and going, where's the A on the periodic table? I'm like, dude, it's Na, it's sodium,
Yeah, and so I know that
not N
that's
and
also a
A.
challenge that I'm facing at least at the East, with the ESOL students
ESOL.
is, yes, it's the difference between what a capital letter and a lowercase letter represents.
So we are all expecting them to solve these equations or balance the equations.
Yes.
Are we all using the same model of getting to that? No. Do we want, is that, well, yeah, is that something we should discuss to come up with a process that's common? That way, when we talk about shifting from semester A to semester B, I don't know if that's
Because the
necessarily
students
appropriate.
are- because the
Right.
students are- Well, I mean, I saw your quiz there, I mean, you teach the table, right? You list all your elements out and then how many elements are on both
Yes.
sides. Yeah, I use a table too, when I
Yes.
teach my kids,
Okay.
yeah.
That the way we do all the
Yes.
time,
Do
and
you
but
do that?
the
Yeah.
point is, this is
Yeah.
not for regular, this is my honors.
Right.
Regular, they do, there is a paper, okay, MG, and then they put these things right away, so they can see, oh, it's not matching, just like you wrote on the paper,
Yeah.
I have a copy of
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
So they, oh, no, it's not, so he's gonna put it like this way.
And then-
That's the way I teach for a regular
So I'm
class.
wondering if your regular kids, if you gave them a quiz using the exact same manipulatives, would they be able to do it?
The good thing is that my regular class did better than my honors class,
Oh.
so that means I feel like it. Maybe
Definitely
I'll
it's
be
better.
whizzing next time using this concept
Yeah.
to my honors. I thought my honors is way up, they can do it, but I start from there. Let's see what is going to happen.
Right.
Probably that will be better idea. My regular did better than my honors did. So that's why I said that mostly they're kinesthetic learner. Mostly they can
So
do
it
this
seems
stuff,
like-
they can get better job.
So before balancing on paper, they had the curriculum requires us to do suggests that we use the FET, the Colorado
Yes, the
simulation
Yeah,
part.
the simulation.
Right.
Yeah,
Do
kind
you all feel like that was a successful introduction into balancing
I would
equations?
rather have that
Or
kind
did
of
you
like
feel like your
reinforcement.
students were just pressing buttons?
I
happy
feel
face
that
they
way,
did?
kind of.
Okay.
I feel that way. They just like to put the button and see, oh, it's a happy face is coming, that means I'm done. Oh, I did it, and they got the, that kind of feeling I have it. I don't know, it maybe I'm wrong, but
Right.
that's happened to my,
I would say
Like some
majority of my
students, it was
students
a win,
probably
some
did it more that
students, it
way.
was just a
So maybe the
computer
thing is
game,
that
and
we
I'm done with it.
take that out of the situation altogether, or we can use it as a teacher to model, like, hey, if you look at what we have on this side and this side, do they look, like, use it more as
Same.
a visual
Yes.
aspect as opposed to an actual
Yes.
student-based, like, lesson.
yeah, they
itself.
all did the same way when
And
I
it sounds
started them.
like, it sounds like hands-off manipulatives might be the better way to approach it instead. So maybe use that as like a warm-up, or, you know, show a picture of, like a screen captured shot of a unbalanced one, and just say, you know, can you see where, there, you know, there might be an inequality here between the atoms? And then go into more of like the hands-on manipulatives, as opposed to just wasting a day on that simulation altogether.
We can
And
do that one.
then scaffold and build, like you had said.
You
like,
know,
this
I
is
never
what
thought
we're
about that
showing
with the
you.
ding, but you're right, are they learning or are
And
they
then-
just trying?
yeah.
And third thing, I don't know, you guys notice or not, when they put the coefficient in the front, and that new coefficient is going to front, and then the whole atom, that compound is changed, they are not doing these things afterward. So that is another thing we are facing problem, at least I'm facing problem. I don't know you notice or not. So, okay, this is the one balance, okay, let's put the 2 water, so hydrogen is 4. What about our oxygen? That changed too, but they are not looking at that on that
So,
part.
just a random throw in, I know for a fact there'll be NISA questions about balancing equations, because I've seen them and it's easy to test.
Right.
So, but I have physically seen actual sample questions of balancing equations.
Right.
So it is important.
Those
choice
NISA-related
responses?
ones, are they like
Nah.
multiple choice, or are they
There are
like?
some.
I've
It
seen
was
both.
history.
So both?
I've seen mostly ones where they actually have to do it correctly
Okay,
with
so they
the
have to write
correct
it out.
number. So not, so, well, I have seen for a fact one where they actually had to put the correct numbers in.
Okay.
I don't know if I've seen a multiple choice or not. I've only seen about 20 total questions.
It was
I know for a
before-
fact one of them was
Before
this.
it was a multiple choice, before NGSS. We have a multiple choice, 2, 2, 1, 1, like that, click on that, which one is the right one.
Yes.
Yeah, so,
yes.
but not anymore, not anymore.
I haven't seen
I know,
questions
that is
in a
not
while.
anymore,
Yeah.
because they don't, we're the one making
But
questions.
regardless, I just know for a
Yeah.
fact this will show up.
Yeah,
So what I'm now looking at is, I'm trying to get them to look at, here's your balanced equation, and this is for the prep into the decomposition lab. And let's say instead of using a coefficient of 2 for H2O2 here, now you have a 4. How does that change the rest of the coefficients? And so I'm trying to use proportions to teach them how the coefficients in the balanced equation is